So this is Gradius for the NES, and its common perk that is more distinct from the arcades is the amount of bonuses that are hidden throughout the game. For example, I'm going to go for the capsule that grants you auto fire, because you can actually get auto fire pretty much on the start if you get pretty much a pretty great setup of having 6 options like so, and then having your 1000 digits of a 0. Then you collect one more, and then you practically given auto fire capsule for some reason. I don't know. Gradius is pretty tedious with its bonuses. Usually you have to get your score counter pretty precise or whatever, or just be placed in a specific spot that a lot of further gameplay will be shown. This is my first time actually doing a live commentary. But yeah, here's for example the first spot that you can actually get additional 5000 points that will contribute to your score overall. So what's the main point of score running the game? It's just killing enemies, right? Well, not exactly, because there's also a hidden gimmick that, similarly to auto fire capsules, you actually can get 10,000 point bonuses if you get 6 capsules, and then wait for your 1000 digit of a score to be a 5. Then you get your 7th capsule, and then you're granted a 10k bonus. Of course, that is a little bit on a strategic route, because you don't really know when this is going to happen unless you actually play the game. This is I started running this method for quite like a few months, so of course this is not a refined method. Anyway, this is the first mid-boss. It's pretty much a milk score section. However, you need to be in a pretty precise position in order to not get killed, and in order to get maximum kills on those volcanoes, because each of those rocks will grant you 100 points. And with the setup that you need auto fire, and that might not be really that useful, so unless I find a better strat for that, I guess you're kinda stuck with 60k by the Big Core Warship. Of course, the Big Core Warship grants you 20,500 points total, so you're pretty much offset with 70k on the second stage. The game has 7 stages, so it's relatively short. You can finish the whole game in around 15 minutes, no problem. Oh, here's the first 10k point capsule, and there it was. I just got 10k for probably what it seemed to be pretty much nothing, but sadly that's how Gradius kinda operates. It's still kinda difficult to manipulate your skill like this. Those blue capsules, by the way, kill all enemies on the screen without adding anything to your score counter, so even though it seems kinda pointless for score running, it helps with score manipulation, because you sometimes need your score counter to be lower in order to get those bonuses. You're also allowed to get an extend every 100,000 points. It's a score extend, you'll eventually get that one. You also can get 1-ups via being in a precise position, similarly to those positions, to those spots where you're granted 5k, like over here. Except that in case of a 1-up, your thousands of a digit must be even. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. Well, actually I said every one of these, so yeah. It has to be even, otherwise the position won't work. Let's see if I'm actually going to get... No, I don't think I'm going... Yeah, I fucked up that. Yeah, it's a little bit hard and difficult in order to get the right position and a right situation for a 10k bonus capsule, so there's a little bit of a trick in order to get there. You need to play the game a lot of times. And with that's basically stage 2. Stage 2 mid-boss is a ZBrush. Basically all you have to do is find a precise spot and just stay in there. That is if you're fully powered up. If not, then you kinda have a little bit tougher situation, but if you have auto fire and you're basically having 2 options and whatnot, you're pretty much not going to do anything. You're just going to stay in one place and kinda relax. By the way, I have not, by the time I actually recorded this run, I have not found all of the score bonuses and 1-up spots, because, as I said, they are pretty hidden. I'm going to tell you I'm going to try to tell you where they are supposed to be. Actually, we just missed one at extent. There was one on the end of stage 2. I'll provide some footage where you can actually get it somewhere right now. And with that being said, we welcome stage 3. As I've said, I kinda tried to do some scroll manipulation, but in the end it didn't work just as I wanted to do. So I'm just going to get those capsules back and try for another take. Stage 3 has a really stupid gimmick of granting you a way to skip the fourth stage. If you happen to kill those Moai heads, and if you happen to kill more than 10 of them, then you're granted a warp to the next stage. So basically you're not going to even experience stage 4. So I'm trying my best not to kill more than 9 Moai heads. I'm usually not trying to count them much often because I'm more focused on trying to milk the ripples, the ringy things, and it's kinda difficult for the fact. The left one on the bottom right now has a hidden 5k spot. That's just for the record. I'm going to also provide a footage how it exactly looks like. But yeah, for now I'm just kind of chilling in the top spot because I'm kind of afraid of losing a life. I'm just going to say that I've been running this category without trying to lose a life, because if you lose a life you can basically start out from a checkpoint, and with that you can kind of milk score infinitely because it provides you pretty much a huge amount of score. There was another one-up spot and it only worked when I score was even. And there's another 100k one-up, so with enough, you can get a lot of one-ups during one loop. Oh yeah, loops. The game features loops, meaning that you can basically play a game forever, meaning that you can't really hit a limit if you're going to play the game endlessly. That's why I kinda tried to do only one loops or single loop runs. And that way I am kinda a little bit, as I would say, a little bit more motivated to just do one loop instead of playing the game over and over again on a harder difficulty. Because whenever you defeat a loop, you'll be sent back to the beginning, but there's going to be just a harder difficulty. Sadly, Gradius on the NES features 3 difficulties spikes, as I would say, so basically you have easy, normal, and hard, or loop 1, loop 2, and loop 3. Loop 1, you always start on the easiest one, of course. Oh, here's another 10k, and I think I got it right away. It's a little bit difficult to commentate on the run, as I said, this is my first time trying to do it, but we're approaching stage 4, and it's a pretty much familiar stage of you trying to be an inverted volcano. I actually did a little mistake over here, and I could have waited for trying to get the 5k capsule right away without activating the shield, but at the same time, if you're not going to be careful, you're just going to die and your score won't matter at this point. Because you're required to clear the game without dying once, mostly to just forbid any of the necessary milking throughout checkpoints, so you're basically required to kill the whole game without dying once, and pretty much you have to do it in a pretty solid run as well. So far, the current limit of the potential world record holders was below 700k, however, I found multiple threads that actually managed to increase the score way up to even 800,000, but it's really precise. And this one was done a little bit before I actually managed to do more intense strategies involving test methods. This one is a real-time one. I've been using an emulator. This is a J version. J version allows you basically to kind of see the end credits as well as the high score on your title screen, which is a little bit helpful whenever you're trying to tell what loop are you on. However, the message only scatters like for 6 loops, so it's not really that reliable whenever you're trying to do endless runs, but it still works for single loop categories, which that's why I've been running this one. And well, J is pretty easy. Well, back on the mid-boss. Mid-boss is pretty simple. It's basically an upside down stage 1 mid-boss. It just rocks, you know. You just gotta find a pretty precise spot. And here's another core warship. Yeah. With this being said, I don't think there's pretty much any other strategic setup other than upcoming stage 5 and possibly upcoming stage 7, which is as well as pretty difficult. It also involves a lot of bonuses for some reason, because stage 4 is very scarce in trying to give you 1k bonuses, as I noticed. Maybe it's a little bit different in the usual play, but whenever I try to do it my best, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Well, I'm trying to... oh, look, that was a big fuck up. I missed 2 of these. I just lost at like 1,000 points, and probably at this point, it's not a good thing, but at the same time, you're not dead, so it's still pretty good. I'm going to leave those 2, because stage 5 is a little bit different than the rest. This one doesn't have ground enemies. Instead, it has those meatball things, as I would call them. Basically, the whole strat behind those is you want to destroy the arms of those tentacles, because each arm grants you 1000 points, and destroying later the core or the meatball thing grants you 5k. And whenever you defeat the meatball first, you're not going to get the bonus from additional 1000, so you're just going to miss out on 1k. So first you're going to destroy the arms and then the potential meatball. I actually missed 1 arm over there, so it's a 1k score loss, but overall it's not that bad. Another one feature, yeah, and you're also trying to dodge the projectiles, but since you have 2 shields ready, you should be able to keep it throughout the whole stage, no problem. It's really hard to also manipulate the movement of those tentacles, like for example the arm kinda got in the way. I wasn't able to finish it off early, so I lost another 1000 points, and I missed the meatball right over there, so it's another 5k, and over there I lost another arm, which is another 1k in total of loss. But it's still a pretty decent score, I would say. Like, for one of those first attempts, like first 100, this one is an 81st as far as I remember. I used to post my 37th attempt on YouTube back in the day, and it's probably still my first video ever posted on this channel. Either way, this mid-boss section is just another try to kill as many enemies, and I've been missing out on some other stuff as well, so I guess I missed around 12,000 points, I suppose. So I guess it's a little bit of a big chunk, but then again, you can kind of recover with the upcoming 10k capsules. That's why I do it. With stage 5 being done, stage 6 is one of the a little bit more tougher stages, mostly for the fact that you're trying your best to kinda not die, and also try your best to actually manipulate your score, because this section features a lot of power capsules later in the stage portion, because the intermission stage is very scarce in capsules for some reason. I guess it's just a fact. Well, the biggest enemy of this stage is the amoebas that you're going to face right now, and probably the nets. The stage 6 nets are actually not worth anything. See, for example, I'm trying to set up a pretty good setup for a score, and I got it, no problem. It was a pretty clear setup, but then again, I just thinking of doing and collecting every single one. So I tried to score manipulate, didn't work the way I wanted it to, but it's kinda like a reflex. You kinda need to know how much you're required. For example, this one is pretty good, yeah, another one. If you're in a good place, you can actually get, I think, up to 5 score capsules, maybe like 4 on a usual daily basis. There's another one up right on the above of those rubber bands. And that's the Nucleus Boss. This Nucleus Boss is pretty much like any of the volcanoes mid-bosses. All it gives you is, well, I guess it's a little bit of a 20k bonus from just shooting this. I kinda try to not shoot a Nucleus, but as it turns out, doesn't matter whatever you're shooting, it the event, the duration of the event actually relies on how much power-ups you're actually having rather than how much you're shooting the thing. Little cat on me, sorry. Here's another try of getting a Pancake capsule, and there it is. I'm going to highlight those random score markers so you can see it a little better. Sadly, the game doesn't tell you right away if you get the bonus or not. It's a little bit hidden. It doesn't show you the exact way you can actually do it. It's pretty much a secret one. Gradius has always been really tedious in being in terms of hiding their gimmicks and just not doing anything. Here's another try, and there it was. So as you can see, I'm like very close to hitting 700k, even though it doesn't look like so, because the endgame on the stage 7 grants you a total of 100,000 points, meaning that you're basically allowed to gain as much score as you possibly want if you're playing a game infinitely. That's what I wanted to say. Here's another one, and yeah. This is basically already getting to a I would say a world record pace, because as far as I know, no one else other than, well, me happened to get a score over 700,000 on a single loop. I've tried to search all over YouTube, but I didn't have to find anything. Here's the probably the hardest boss of all time. It's really difficult, it's not recommended for you to shoot, but if you don't shoot, then you're pretty much set and you're not really... just kidding, this is just a fucking pushover. Whatever you do, it's just going to self-destruct in like a span of 5 seconds. And that was Gradius Loop 1. The game will now restart back to 0, of course after it grants you a life. Now it will restart, and the first thing you notice, you don't have power-ups anymore. So yeah, you basically start over, except that your score counter is still keeping up to your actual score, so you're basically trying to now go for the highest score possible. Of course, many people try to overflow the score counter, and they succeeded in order to get it. The limit of this high score counter reaches 9,990,000 999,990. I'm sorry for being that tedious, but you can actually push the score further. Your star 95 actually managed to push the score to over 10 million. Same with Tom Watava. I'm not really sure which of the other participants in score running in the Gradius score running community happened to get, but I know those two people managed to get it, and you can find their footage right on YouTube, no problem. So now I'm just kind of trying to play and see how far can I get without dying. Sadly, it won't last long because I died in the stage 2-2. The first digit of the stage that we refer relates to a loop, while the second digit kind of relates to the fact that it's the current stage. So for example, this one is called 2-1 because we're on the second loop, but it's still the first stage. That way it's a little bit easier to tell where the hell are you in, for example, after 5 hours of play. You see, now you've seen kind of my tactic a little bit change, because I was a little bit anxious to try to score for the setup. I don't think I actually got a Pancake capsule. Maybe not a Pancake capsule, but an Out of Fire capsule. As far as I know, you're actually strapped of that power up once you finish the loop, and you start back over to the second one. As far as I know, yeah, I didn't have the Out of Fire one. It's a little bit harder that way to kind of get there. I had to manually tap everything. And second loop actually features other enemies and manages to have the core warship to also shoot back additional bullets, like just another example. You may think it's kind of harmless, but trust me, it is not. It's very dangerous. you gotta watch out with this. Gradius is a pretty uncommon game. It has pretty brutal difficulty in the game. It happens to catch you off guard relatively quickly, even though it just doesn't happen to go. Like, for example, you're starting to get greeted by 100 of a little bit faster bullets, but with enough luck, you're kinda... Oh yeah, I'm trying to get the auto-fire capsule now, and I got it. And the second stage, well, it's basically the same thing, except the hatches that spawn more enemies are now the serious threat, because other than the turrets that spawn very fast bullets, the hatches spawn 8 enemies that will basically shoot you down, and they have a huge amount of a fire setup. So yeah, for example, yeah, you're starting to get really treated, and as far as I know, this is where I'm going to die. Yep. So that was my furthest record, or my personal best, of trying to stay alive during one life, and that's pretty much everything. Thank you for watching, and the next video I'm going to post will kinda tie back more into theoretical play of Gradius, so you people can understand a little bit better how the actual game works, and how you could possibly score up the potential best during single loop categories. I hope to see you soon, and I hope I didn't bore you too much. See you later, fuckers.